We've got custom foam for the panel, since with the Honda Civic OEM radios, it is the entire panel that you guys have to replace. With what you get in the box here, looks like our first bag is going to be the reverse camera. So it looks like it'll be a typical reverse camera where we're going to have the power, the RCA for the video line, the reverse signal for the power to actually tell the camera when to turn on and off. So that's going to be our reverse camera bag. And next, we got a couple tools. We got a little Phillips head and a plastic pry bar. Next, we're going to have the OEM harness plug for the Civic. And then it looks like our reverse signal is going to be here as well. It looks like it's a brown cable. So from the looks of it, it looks like we'll put that red cable to that brown cable there, and that'll be our reverse signal input for the reverse camera to tell it to turn on and off. On the radio harness end, looks like we have a typical plug adapter there for the Android head unit. And then we've got a radio antenna adapter as well. So looks like we should be able to retain all the functionality of the OEM Civic. Next, we've got the user manual. So it's going to tell us what all of our wiring does on the pin out there, all the separate cables are that you're going to get, and then here's how to wire your reverse camera. There's a website, and again, I'll leave a link to this in the description down below. So let's go ahead and see what we've got. Looks like our first bag is going to be a external microphone. Next is going to be all your audio outputs, and then you've got an amp remote start if you got a subwoofer, and then here's your subwoofer line out and your microphone input if you want to use the external one. So this is the same type of plug. It's just going to plug into the back of the head unit there. One single USB-A, so that'll be for wired CarPlay or Android Auto, and then if you want to do charging off the head unit as well, you'll have that option available. Then we're going to have a GPS antenna, the reverse signal camera, and then we've got an additional USB out, so you can have one for the passenger if you want them to have a cable too. Plenty of options as far as wiring and everything, so we'll go into more depth once we actually pull this out of the car and start wiring everything, but that's everything that it comes with. So here's your wiring bags, not too bad in my opinion, and once again we'll go through what everything does. The main thing that I like is that it comes with the OEM harness for the Civic adapter, so that's going to be a big plus, because sometimes figuring out the pin out with this one is a little weird because there is multiple plugs, so that's going to be a big help with as far as install is concerned. So now that we got all that unboxed, let's go ahead and get the unit out, then we can take these off and see that everything's nice and fitted there as well. So really good packaging, and I had no issues with damage or anything like that. So here's our actual screen and our dash adapter, you can call it. So that's how far it kind of sticks out from your normal radio. So it's just this 90-degree piece there, and then this will be completely flat on the front there as well, and then you'll be able to have all your normal buttons that are on the OEM Civic. We do have a built-in microphone, reset button, power button, home, back, volume up and volume down, and then there's also a screen protector on top of this as well, so looking really nice. And then on the back side here, you can see that it's kind of plastic welded in, and then it looks like there are some screws to remove it if we ever need to, but otherwise you're gonna have your main power harness, all your accessory stuff. But yeah, otherwise as far as the mold and everything looks nice. It looks like it's gonna line up perfectly for what the Civic has. So yeah, that's everything that comes with the box, and I am excited to get this installed. So hopefully next time we see the garage, the Civic will be in here and we'll be beginning the installation. So let's go ahead and swap out. Here's the Civic. So we've got everything ready to go. We're gonna start pulling out the stock unit here. So there's a panel under here, and there's two 8mm under here, so pry this panel down. There's the panel. There's one of the bolts, hopefully you guys can see it. And the other one is over on this side. Yeah, I never put these back in when I took mine out the first time. That's why I don't remember. I remember now that we're like doing it, but yeah, I definitely did not put these back in. There we go. There it is. Oh, look at that. It has a Phillips head on it too. The radio should be loose, hopefully. So then we just need to pry this whole thing up and out. So get a good plastic pry tool. Oh! Alright. We're getting some movement. There we go. If it sounds like you cracked something, that means it's working. Alright, then this part of the panel is clipped underneath this side. So you gotta lift this side up and push this side down. There we go. There we go. So now those are disconnected, so those are just clips all the way around. And now your head unit is free, or should be. So all this clips all gotta come undone. So there's the clip, and there's just a tab on the bottom of each one. And it looks like this one's right here. Get all those removed, and you can lift it up like this. So there's our three clips to the radio. So pull that white tab out and then push down on the white tab. Oh, psych, okay, take the white tab out. Oh, there we go. It's this tab on the side actually for the radio. Push that in, that comes out. And then this will be up underneath here. That one comes out, and then same thing here, it's up underneath. and there we go. So now we'll plug in the main harness, the accessory, and the radio antenna up into the new harness. And you're doing some weight reduction too.
Oh damn! I was not ready for it.
We're gonna move over to the vents, these two things, and your AC control here. So we're gonna remove all these from the stock unit, keep these screws, you'll have to reuse them. It's pretty much a Phillips on each corner for everything. So here's your HVAC controls out. Alright, so these front buttons here come off. Little mini screwdriver. There it goes. You can use a plastic pry tool too, but these are pretty tough to get off. So just get it on that lip and then push in the middle. There we go. Oh, there we go. That's how to take out the HVAC. So we'll have to move that over to the new one. And we'll use the same knobs as before as well. So 2 screws on both of these.
Airbag. Air mattress.
Air mattress.
Airbag.
There's that one removed. Has a light. There's that bad boy. Now this has 3 folded on your vent here. There's your vent. You're gonna need, I just took these off of the stock unit. So preferably do this before you put it in the car, but we kind of forgot about it. There we go. Go on like that. And now we're done with this, so go ahead and throw this in an incinerator. We're just gonna take all those pieces we just took off and transfer them onto here. So we're looking at the vent here, and this is how it sits on the stock one. It fits fine, obviously, but this one is a little long on this side. So we're gonna go ahead and trim it down to kind of where those peaks start. So I'm gonna start with it there and we'll see if we sit flush or not. So that's where we had to cut it. I just cut it with a Dremel, just right at where those peaks kind of start there. I know this is able to sit flush there, so the vent is looking good. There's the front. So we'll go ahead and continue putting everything in. We are losing the passenger airbag light. There's not a spot for it here, so I'm still gonna plug it in the back just so it doesn't throw any lights or anything like that, but it won't actually be seen in the car. Alright, so there's everything connected. There's your 3 screws on the vent, and then we cut that one down on the side so it's sit flush. Then your emergency light has 2 screws there, and then 4 screws for your HVAC. And then we are all set up. So there's how it's gonna look in the car. Didn't mark it like I did, just push the button in a little bit. You can kind of feel where it's at, so just make sure you're putting it in the right way. And then those just pop back in. There's those installed. Make sure you got the full width of the turning radius there, and then yeah, we are good to go on there. So we're going to take this harness and plug it into the stock connections now, and then we'll power this up and just make sure everything's looking good power wise. So here's our 3 connections, which look like they're going to match up to the 3 from the stock one. So we're gonna have a radio antenna, so that goes like that. That's connected. Then take this one, that, and then your main harness here. All right, there's all 3 of those plugged in. So the only one that's not plugged in is our reverse input. So we'll plug that in once we put in the reverse camera here. But let's go ahead and test out our power and then our radio antenna to make sure that everything's working stock from the car. My hand's like freezing, so I can't tell if I'm pushing it down.
Alright guys, it's only 0 degrees outside right now.
But we're gonna have plugged in just to test, just the main harness and the radio. Just gonna turn on the power, just to verify. Oh, fuck.
It's 105.1. It's the Latino one. Perfect.
So from the main screen here, we're gonna go to application, then go to Bluetooth. Gonna start working on all the accessory stuff that goes along with this. This will just be back here. Just wanted to show that we're putting it there. If you're planning on using the GPS of the actual unit instead of like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, then your GPS will have to be up on your dash somewhere where it can actually get a good signal. But since we're not using it, we're just gonna go ahead and plug it in and make sure that it's connected just in case. So there's 3 clips. I don't know what, well, they look like that on the other side. You use the flathead and unscrew the middle portion out, and then you pop out the actual clip. So we've already removed the 3 on this side, so there's 1 here, 1 in the middle, and 1 down there. Then you're just going to take this whole cover and pull it down. So this is your reverse light here. So it looks like if we follow that back, it's this plug. So we're going to remove that. And we just got to figure out which of these is the positive end, and then we're going to tap off of that. So I'll get my 12 volt light, and then we'll go into reverse and see which wire it is. So I'm going to take my 12 volt tester. I just put it on that bulb there, and I'm going to go ahead and shove it in this connector. So there we go. So when you're looking at it, the brown wire on that connector is your positive end. So that's the one that we're going to tap for the reverse camera. And then we'll do a dry fit for the reverse camera and just make sure that all of our signals are tapped correctly. So we just did a test fit. We're from the brown cable of the reverse wire from the body harness. So that's going to be connected back with the longer cable in the middle, and then that's just going right back to your reverse light. So you're going from the positive end of your reverse light, and then here's our cable that's going to go to the front. That's going to get plugged into the camera end. And then the pink wire is going to also go to the 12 volt of the reverse light. And then there's one more part. So then this end, where it's the positive and negative, that gets plugged into the camera. Your positive end is also going to get jumpered into the positive end of your reverse light. And then your ground, we're going to throw a spade terminal on it and put it on this nut, and then that's just going to be a ground. So that's how the camera's wired on this end. We're going to go ahead and run it up through the trunk and then mount it over here in the middle somewhere. Do a dry fit test as well before you actually put anything in. You're going to plug your video signal into this accessory plug. That's going to be your video signal there. And then your reverse positive signal is going to be off of this main wire harness, and it's labeled reverse. So it's this brown cable. So the other end of the pink wire is going to go here. So I'm going to go ahead and actually wire all that, and then hopefully it'll make more sense once it's actually wired. And we'll take another look at it then. So this light is your license plate light. To take it out, you come up under here, see this little tab? But anyways, you can sneak this whole thing through, and it'll fit right through there, and there's a gasket, so you don't have to worry about waterproofing it. Then it'll give us enough room to put the camera right here and put that right there like that. So that'll be pretty sick. Put this back down, see if everything actually fits. There's going to be a tab on your left here that you're going to have to push up under the body. So make sure that's up under. There we go. Then your clip will be there. So to push that out, you're going to want to push this clip on the left side, and then it'll pop out. So make sure your foam stays in there. And now our wiring is on the other side of the trunk here. So, and then to take that out, there's just a little clip as well. So that's in there. And then we've got our wiring up under here. So make sure you got enough on that side. And then push this back down. There we go. So then that's what it should look like. And the wire's nice and tight with the foam. And then just make sure you got enough wiring up here to get to the center of the logo as well. So that's what the reverse camera will look like when you're all installed. Okay, so just want to do an update. So there's our camera feed coming out, and then there's your two plugs. So just, if you have heat shrink, use heat shrink, or you can use tape, and then zip ties to make sure nothing will come undone while you're driving. Then run it down with this, and then make sure you do go all the way down your wiring here, because the trunk closes with that wiring attached to it. So you gotta make sure that you have enough to be able to close the trunk. So on your main power harness here, you're gonna have your positive and negative. And then this wire is the pink wire coming off of the RCA there. So I've extended all three of those down. And then this wire is your RCA, so that has to go up to the front. So we'll go through kind of the pathway for that, but more or less we're going to be following that cable down and then go under the seat down that way. So I've got my ground here. That's going to go straight off that nut. And I put a spade bit on there, so that's our ground from the terminal there. So these two positive ends are going to go to your positive end of your reverse light there as well. So that's where all that's going to get soldered up. So I'm going to go ahead and connect that, and then the camera is connected. But yeah, definitely do a dry fit in the beginning just to make sure everything is working as you want it to. So there's a little hole. I'll go stick my hand right here. So that's where we're going to start running the wire through, and then we're going to come on this side. Then we're going to take it down and keep it running behind all this, and then we're going to go under the seat, under this part here. Yeah, this just comes off, and then this plastic, and then we're just going to follow the plastic all the way down and then up behind the head units. Okay, so we just got the wire up to there, so you're going to want to tuck it underneath all that plastic there. This is where it gets kind of sticky. You're going to have to lift up on this piece here and get your plastic pry tool and get up under that, and then you're going to have to pull this whole piece up and run the wire up there. So it's tight and it's tough. And then to remove your kind of footrest pedal there, this is going to be a flathead on the top right side right there, and then down below you're going to need an Allen key, so you got to kind of twist that as well, and then that'll unbolt. That'll give you enough room to run your wire up along this edge, and then up to behind the head unit. So we're almost there. Okay, so off of this accessory one, this is going to be if you want to run your subwoofer or an external amp or anything like that. So all that we're going to use from this is to run the fan that's on the back here. So we're going to go ahead and plug that in, and that's coming right off of the board here. And then this gets plugged into the first one, this first one here. So there's the port. And then now he can put in a subwoofer in the future like a man. There's a reverse camera wire here. So this is going to be the video signal cable. So we're going to plug that in and put a tape around it. And then your other cable from your reverse camera, the pink cable is going to go to the brown cable on the main harness called reverse.
Teaching how to solder, I guess.
There you go, that's how to solder.
Never stop music.
Now we wait for someone to comment, "This dude didn't even use flux. That's not how you solder." So now that's soldered, the reverse wire, so I'm going to put tape on that. And then we're ready to go there. Then we're just going to zip tie this up, make it look a little cleaner, and then officially plug the radio in, and then we are done. So the passenger airbag, since we don't have that on this new unit, we're just going to go ahead and plug it in, and that'll just get tucked behind here. So we're just going to be plugging in our emergency button from this side, and then our HVAC controls here. So all these original controls will still be there, and then our two USBs, we're deciding to leave off our underplate here, so then he's going to have the two USBs available here if he ever needs them, and they'll just be hanging out. So then to plug into the actual unit, you're going to have both of your two USB accessory powers. Then you're going to have this accessory, which is your reverse camera video input. Then you're going to have your radio antenna, then the main power harness antenna, and the GPS antenna. So that is everything that gets plugged into the unit. And then otherwise we plugged in the fan with this accessory one. We're not using any of these, so these are all just going to stay back there as well. So there we are, connected up. Got our USBs hanging down still. Okay, so check the reverse camera. There we are. I need to change.
It's pointing up.
Oh, yeah, the
chunk is up. The chunk is up.
So there's the roof. So the reverse camera does look pretty good. Oh, there you go. So you have brightness, contrast, and saturation. So there's your settings for the reverse camera. And then
my Bluetooth automatically connected.
The Bluetooth automatically connects. There we go, got our clips. And then to push this back in, looks like all those clips are still there. And then make sure all these holes are lined up. And all that'll snap back into place. There's your full look once she's installed. So you get the big dog screen. And then we've got the two USBs down here still. So you can tuck those up there when he's not needed. And then now that we left the power in, let's see what it shows. Okay, so now it just goes straight to it. But yeah, so we auto connected. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's the look of it installed. So you'll get a little shelf here, the finished installation. So but yeah, that's the full installation there. So we're gonna go ahead and mount the reverse camera because I forgot about that, and then we're done. So, but yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You can look as pro as Julian.
Life for me, how they got life for me when they took from me since I had my nose, yeah.